In northern Kenya, a landmark collaboration is attempting to assist one of the world's most endangered creatures.
1, 2, 3, go!
We are saving a species.
There are so few animals left. Every single one is important.
So we must have a chance to bring them home again.
For the first time in a generation, the black rhino will return to northern Kenya. But capturing one of the world's most dangerous animals is not without its challenges.
Anything you don't want them to go near, they head direct for.
Okay, be ready to run.
It's another busy week in Kenya. Lewa Conservancy is dedicated to preserving and protecting Africa's wildlife. They've been successfully managing breeding programs to increase the population of the critically endangered black rhino, a species that for decades has been the target of poachers. They've been so successful that they now want to move some of the rhino to a new location. The plan is to translocate 10 of Lewa's black rhino to the Sera Wildlife Conservancy, 4 hours north of Lewa. Flying over the remote wilderness of northern Kenya, Lewa founder and director of the Northern Rangelands Trust, Ian Craig, is looking forward to the start of his lifelong passion project.
Kenya's breeding rhino really successfully. We're breeding 30 to 40 rhino every year that need new homes, and nobody's planning for it. So we're really in a catch-22 here of where do we put rhino and where do we plan for rhino into the future.
The area was once great rhino habitat, but relentless poaching in the 1970s and 80s wiped them completely out. Translocating animals isn't new. What makes this special is that Sera is a community conservation area. It is run and managed by the local community.
Sera sits right on the boundary of a whole bunch of tribal areas. There's complete ownership by those communities. It's obviously incredibly exciting for those that have been involved in it.
It's a massive project, spearheaded by Lewa's sister organization, the Northern Rangelands Trust, an organization that is working with rural communities in northern Kenya to promote peace and the protection of wildlife.
My name's Ian Craig. I'm the Director of Conservation for the Northern Rangelands Trust. We've been working on this project for the last 5 years. We planted the seeds amongst the communities that this is what NRT was ready to support, and we went through the whole environmental process, and it narrowed it down to one location that was suitable and the community wanted.
The community at Sera is made up of the Samburu tribe, a semi-nomadic pastoralist culture that have lived in the region for several hundred years. They are dependent on their livestock. The coexistence of cows and rhinos is vital to making this project work. For a pastoralist tribe that places wealth in cattle, to fence key grazing land is a serious commitment.
You know, it's a big deal for a community to fence off 107 square kilometers of grazing land. And now I would say that there's complete respect and recognition and acceptance. So guys are trained, fences ready, roads are ready, water's ready, everything's basically in place for the rhino sanctuary.
A community conservancy is exactly what it sounds like. Although several organizations provide support, decision-making is in the hands of the local council.
Black rhino conservation, which is probably some of the most complicated, complex, and most involved, expensive and time-consuming conservation work that you can be involved in. Here we are with communities now actually starting to take this on and demonstrating they have the will, the passion and the wherewithal to do this.
The Samburu are working hard to get ready. They're anticipating the arrival of the rhino as well as the economic benefits that will come from tourism as a result of having rhino.
You know, as now you know, we are introducing a black rhino to Sarah. Everyone now knows the importance of this rhino to here.
It's perfect rhino habitat. Historically, 30, 40 years ago, that area probably had the highest densities and the highest concentrations of black rhino anywhere in the country. And to introduce them back into that area, it's a reintroduction, if you will, a repopulation.
So we have to find all our techniques to make sure the whole community accepts it.
The community around, the Borana, the Rendile, the Samburu come together to give animals peace, people also peace, and many of them get money from this rhino. This is removing people from poverty to a better life.
It is the community's hope that by protecting habitat for rhino, it will allow for the rebounding of other species. And today, members of the local community are applying to become a big part of that life. And who better to protect rhinos than traditional Samburu warriors? Although the Samburu are pastoralists, the males come from a warrior tradition and are fiercely protective of their herds. To be chosen for this work is an immense honor and will be life-changing. They will have a secure job and a career, but it does come with risks. Although protected by a worldwide ban, rhino horn is valuable on the black market. And because of that, poachers will kill for it.
Clearly, it's a critically endangered species. There are only 640 left in the country. There are only 4,000 black rhino left in the world.
My worries, of course, is poaching. You know, somebody will try and kill these rhino for sure.
We have noticed an increase in poaching incidences. We are very happy that Sarah Conservancy are providing secure space for rhinos.
I think the security will be good.
And to help provide that security, the community is looking for the fittest individuals. Being Kenya, a running nation, a 10K race serves as the first cut. With the run finished, the top 30 are invited to apply to become local rangers.
We good?
What begins as a job interview quickly turns into a training session. The selection is carried out by the region's elite anti-poaching team called 9-1.
Go! Come on!
The running was no problem, but this is a bit of a culture shock.
Keep it going! Come on, let's go!
These guys aren't used to doing push-ups.
All the way up, number 5!
To face the kind of challenges that modern wildlife conservation requires, the successful recruits will be trained to military standards.
Keep it going!
Once trained, these local rangers will conduct unarmed patrols. The team will provide general security. Should a conflict arise where armed engagement is needed, a specially trained rapid response team that is in the region will respond.
The core element for starting this 9-1 team is to bring security among these three communities. Before these communities had a conflict with each other, this Samburu and Borana, and this team, each and every ranger acts as an ambassador to his community so as to mobilize the community on peace.
As the Sera community works to prepare for the arrival of the 10 Rhino, back at Lewa, the hopes for the project are high.
So Lewa is at the center of this project to reintroduce rhino into Sera Community Conservancy, because really Lewa was the birthplace of Northern Rangelands Trust and the birthplace of community conservancies in Kenya.
The Craigs are one of the founding families of the Lewa Wildlife Conservancy. At Sera, the story is coming full circle. Ian witnessed the capture of the last rhino in the northern rangeland areas around Sera over 30 years ago.
Last time I saw rhino in northern Kenya, 1983, and we caught that.
Those animals provided the nucleus for Lewa's Black Rhino program. And now it's the descendants of those rhinos that will make their way back home. And the Craig family's descendants are involved as well. Ian's son, Batien, an experienced wildlife capture expert, will coordinate the effort on the ground. It's his responsibility that things go smoothly on the Lewa end. But even before they begin, they've been hit with a major delay.
You know, moving rhino, we want to move them into Sera in absolute peak condition. This translocation was meant to happen 6 months ago. Due to the drought, due to the low rainfall, everything that's happened up there, we called that off. They're just such sensitive animals to be moving.
The delays are creating extra pressures. The breeding program at Lewa has been so successful that there are now more of the animals than is healthy for the environment and for the species.
We're oversubscribed with rhino, if you will. We've gone beyond our ecological carrying capacity.
When rhinos don't have enough space, they will fight for territory. Lewa has lost 3 animals this way over the past 2 years. The best thing for everyone will be to get this move underway as quickly as possible. And even when the rains do arrive, the risks will be considerable.
The pressure's on when you start catching an animal like that. Based on the fact that there are so few animals left, every single one is important.
After 6 months of waiting, the rains have finally arrived in the north. And Lewa's massive rhino translocation campaign to the Sera Conservancy can finally proceed.
You know, first day there's going to be, we're all rusty. Things will go wrong, we expect things to break. Although we've checked, double checked, triple checked, everything. We'll see.
Lewa is going to relocate 10 rhinos. That means capturing them one by one, carefully sedating them just enough to get them loaded onto special transport crates. Then the rhinos will be driven 4 hours to Sera, where they'll be released into new and unfamiliar territory.
Things can go wrong, and you can guarantee no one day will be the same, and no rhino capture will be similar to the one you did the day before, or the week before, or the year before. And we need to be ready to be able to react when something does go wrong.
In Kenya, all wildlife is owned by the government and is managed by the Kenyan Wildlife Service, or KWS, both inside national parks and outside. They work together in partnership with the conservancies and will lead the capture team and supply the vet team.
Today is a big day. We are very excited. It's a big deal because in Africa, no black rhinos have been taken to a community conservancy.
Oh, okay.
To capture the rhinos, they will use a helicopter piloted by Lewa CEO Mike Watson. Once a rhino is identified, it will be darted with a tranquilizer. That responsibility falls to KWS vet Matthew Mutinda.
The first animal for today has just been located, and now we are rushing on our way to meet a helicopter.
They track down the first rhino. Firing a tranquilizer dart from a moving helicopter at a panicked rhino takes skill. The placement has to be perfect. The dart has to penetrate the rhino's thick hide so that the drug will hit the bloodstream. Matthew takes aim. The drug takes 5 to 10 minutes to take effect. Mike will use the helicopter to herd the rhino to a safe place where the teams can easily get to it.
You see all the elephants panicking, because obviously with the helicopter and that animal going down and things. But it's gone down. Yeah, everybody on this side. Yeah, we'll turn him around a bit. Yeah, he's a big boy.
While Matthew focuses on the welfare of the rhino, Batian gets to work.
Chainsaw?
Rhinos are being hunted to the point of extinction because of their horn. Although trade in rhino horn is illegal, heavily armed poachers are a constant threat. So for the safety of the animals, the horn is being cut off.
Watch it, Pete. Just hang on. Just giving it oxygen at the moment.
The horn is made of keratin, the same substance found in human fingernails. And like with your fingernails, the horn will grow back. The horn is immediately handed off to a government vet who will make sure it is locked away. Now the team will install a radio tracking device into the stump.
You know, we've got two types of transmitters that we're putting in these animals. The first one, and we try and put that in the back horn, is a VHF transmitter.
It's crucially important that the rangers at Serra be able to find and track the movements of each rhino. Because of the threat from poachers, this rhino being moved to the Serra Conservancy will need to be visually spotted every 3 days to ensure they are safe. The microchip means there are 2 tracking devices on the rhino.
They come on twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. Matthew, syringe? No, the microchip, so it's just giving it its own unique identity. No different to microchipping your dog. Can I have a syringe? You know, this is dental acrylic, no different to what they make your mother-in-law's false teeth out of. No, it doesn't inhibit horn growth at all. If anything, it's a lot harder than horn. Yeah, in about 5 minutes' time, it will be absolutely solid. It goes like concrete.
The devices are installed quickly. They don't want to keep the rhino sedated for longer than necessary.
Okay, 1 minute.
We need to get this head over now.
With the transmitter installed, the focus shifts to the actual move. The problem is, it's not easy to move an unconscious rhino that weighs about the same as a mid-sized car.
1, 2, 3, 20! 1, 2, 3, 20! 1, 2, 3, 20! 20!
So they'll wake it up and push it into the crate.
You know, there's rough edges from having taken it off with the chainsaw, and we want that horn to grow back in a natural shape. He can come up now. Everybody out now. Space, space, space.
Oh, Danny!
Okay, cool.
Good. Sorry, Mardani. Hey, Bas, Kauro.
Hivi. Madenge.
It's a female, 5.3 years old. She has got just about 1.5 years to go before she starts breeding.
You're going to see this population grow. We're bringing back rhinos where they were before, and it's an awesome feeling.
Good for the first one. That was good. It's just so many people, but it's so exciting for everybody. It was good. Yeah, no, it was good. Couldn't go better.
The first animal to go to Sarah was Black Rhino Community Conservancy.
The drive to the rhino's new home will take 4 hours. But for now, she will be waiting until they capture a second animal to accompany her.
So just waiting at the next lorry, then we go to the second one, and then they will start now moving to Sarah.
Rhinos need to be moved when it's cool in the early morning and late afternoon, so they will have a maximum 2 per day.
There's a lot of small things that can go wrong in wildlife immobilizations in the wild. My main concern is the safety of the animal.
There is a very real possibility that at some point, something will go wrong.
For a big old beast that looks prehistoric, they're amazingly fragile. They're delicate. It's gone amazingly well up to now, but it's just maintaining that standard.
Five hours into their ambitious rhino translocation project at Lewa Conservancy, and the team is off to a good start. They are moving 10 rhinos from Lewa to Sarah Conservancy, a 4-hour drive to the north. It's a major coordinated operation involving Conservancy wildlife experts and the Kenyan government. The plan is to capture and move 2 rhino a day.
Very good, very good. Went on very well. Mtungi wanaume. Okay, oxygen.
The second animal is located and darted safely. And again, they'll remove the horn and install a radio transmitter.
What's that?
Transmitter 2, but the number is 22. Yeah, head up. Okay, guys, pitisha hii, just tarisha.
Batian, at your own time. Sawa. Animals are like people, they all behave very differently. This guy is a little bit more lively and you can hear some dance in the crate. And the other guy is nice and calm and settled.
And then we need one person on the back of each lorry.
With the rhino safely on board, the truck departs. They have a 4-hour drive ahead of them to their new home at the Sarah Conservancy. The first day of the operation has been textbook perfect. Tomorrow, Batian and his team will head to a new location to capture 2 more rhino. Day 2's operation will move to the Lake Nakuru National Park, several hours' drive west of Lewa.
You know, we're bringing animals into Sarah from 3 different areas for genetic diversity. Next step is to move animals from Nakuru in. So we're going to concentrate on Nakuru today, do 2 animals from there, and then kick off with Lewa again tomorrow. Give the Lewa team a break. It's gone incredibly well.
Lake Nakuru is one of many national parks in Kenya, with significant rhino numbers and the need to move animals out. Because of the demands of providing security, there are not many places that can take the rhino. So the move to Sarah opens up many new possibilities. With the capture team still busy on Lewa, a second KWS team is preparing for another busy day. First order of business, scanning the terrain from the chopper to find a suitable candidate. After an extensive search, a suitable candidate is found. This rhino is not happy to find itself in the moving crate. The confinement puts stress on the animal, stress that could be compounded when it's transferred to its new home at the Sarah Conservancy.
My greatest concern is their ability to adapt and breed well in a new environment.
The rhino is clearly in distress. In fact, translocating the rhino is potentially dangerous to the animal. But the risk to the individual is outweighed by the risk benefits for the entire species.
We have decided that there is opportunity for growing the black rhino population for taking it to Sarah Wildlife Conservancy. And this opportunity comes in the good browse diet, in the water available, in the enhanced security at Sarah. So the big opportunity to grow species numbers at Sarah Wildlife Conservancy.
The operation continues to go smoothly. 4 rhino are now on their way to the Sarah Conservancy. Their goal is to move 10 rhino. So with half the spots filled, the team will now be very specific about selecting the remaining animals to make sure there is a balanced population.
We really want to get the right animals to move because we moved some quite young females to Sarah. We do want to move some adult females now.
But today, on the 3rd day of the operation, there are problems. The combination of darts, winds, and animal are not cooperating. They can't get a tranquilizer dart into the rhino.
Darting from the ground, it is difficult. It becomes even more difficult now when you have to do it from an helicopter. The animal is moving, the helicopter is moving, and your dart is a light object. But with training, with experience, you can overcome all this.
After a frustrating start. Success. But now they have a new problem.
Ina-detach on impact.
They realize the rhino is injured.
I think let's sample the guy.
She's got a limp on his back left foot. You can see it's all swollen in here. No, she's the wrong animal to move. 1, she's going to be slip and slide around in the box. 2, she's just not the right animal to be moved into Sarah.
Once we found that it's injured, we cannot take it. We just sample it and release it back.
The darting is not a complete loss. They will still collect DNA and other data to help them with the overall program. it also gives them an opportunity to study a unique phenomenon.
I've always been intrigued by filaria, the filaria worm. Which causes wounds on black rhinos for a long time. So we would want to have to commission a small study to try and understand them and identify these worms.
The female is released safely.
The sun is starting to get very hot, and now we're just wondering, would we have enough time to do the two animals?
While the crew on Lewa struggles, the KWS Nakuru team is able to catch 2 more. At Lewa Conservancy, it's another win for the team.
Skuma, skuma, skuma. Wachilia. Lenga, lenga. Wachilia kamba, wachilia kamba. Yeah, this has gone amazingly well, this one. And she's the ideal animal. We were looking for a big adult female to go to Sarah. She's about a 12-year-old.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's getting tired, everybody's sort of slightly on edge. It's always the case, and we've done enough captures to see the edge sort of get slightly frilly on the last days. It can go wrong so quickly, and it's so unpredictable.
With just 2 animals left to capture, the final pair have to be carefully chosen. The capture teams at Lewa Conservancy are close to the end of a project to capture and translocate 10 endangered rhino to the new Sarah Conservancy. Things have been going exceptionally well for a logistically difficult operation. They're down to their last 2 animals. If they can complete the capture today, they will finish a day early. It's demanding physical and mental work, and the teams are getting tired. At this point, they aren't just grabbing any 2 rhinos.
Lewa's got 70 animals. Finding the right candidates to move to Sarah is a challenge. You know, we don't want to be moving heavily pregnant females, and we need to put in a decent mix of males. Now that we've already moved 8 out of Lewa, we need to kind of play with that mix a little bit more.
Rangers have been out since early morning searching for candidates. Even though they know the general location of each animal, it's still like finding a needle in a haystack. Rhinos will sleep and browse in dense bush. Rangers find what they're looking for. And the darting team swings into action. Right from the start, this rhino is challenging. The rhino is aggressive and wants nothing to do with the chopper. At this speed, getting a clean shot at the rhino is tough. The wind becomes a factor. This is where Matthew's years of experience comes in handy. He times his shot perfectly. The rhino is agitated and keeps running. It's headed for a gully. The situation is about to become critical. A fall could be catastrophic, so pilot Mike Watson maneuvers the chopper to cut it off. The rhino crashes into the gully, a place where the capture truck won't be able to access to load the rhino.
You know, it's incredible. When these animals get their drug, they literally follow the terrain, and being on a place like Lewa, they manage to find luggers, dams, water, anything you don't want them to go near, they head direct for.
is in a precarious position. If its airway is obstructed, it could die. He makes the quick decision to revive the animal.
Did you give the antidote already?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, be ready to run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Umefungua tayari?
Yeah, nimeamsha. Ameamka. Guza tena, guza tena. We are saving a species. So every time we see an hiota of risk, we manage that risk proactively.
You've seen him going up there?
Wow, beautiful. I'm happy to see him walk after the experience we just had. Yeah?
Once the operation is aborted, they won't try to recapture the animal for at least a year. The stress is too great. And then another snag.
It's typical of last day, isn't it? That everything's gone slightly wrong. Not wrong, that animal went down in the wrong place, and that was the right decision by Matthew to let it go, because we come back and catch him another day. And then now the lorry's got a puncture. But it's fine. They're changing the tyre now, and then we'll get an extra spare sent over.
While Matthew was averting a disaster, the KWS team caught another rhino in Nakuru. With the rhino safely on board, the truck departs.
You know, we're struggling to find candidates, so we're going to fly and look for the last animal that we need.
But things are about to get worse, and everyone's greatest fear is about to be realized.
What? 20. What's going on here?
They do everything they can, but the animal has stopped breathing and can't be revived.
We lose an animal, it's horrendous. We're not there to kill animals. We're not there to see animals be lost. You know, there's things way beyond our control that we can't, and it's sad. But we're here, we're on the ground, we're doing it, and we realize there's a risk. There's no blame, and we're in this game and we're doing this thing for the right reason.
Makes you feel very dejected, and you try to look for reasons as to why.
Darting an animal is very risky, so many variables can go wrong. An autopsy determined that the animals had been eating at the time of the capture. During the flight, it choked on its food. Now the capture team from Lewa need to regroup. They require one more rhino to move to the Sarah Conservancy and complete their mission. But the next animal brings its own challenge.
I spent next to a lager, so we are down in the bottom of a lager. But it's first, we'll be able to put a log in there and get him out.
With the animal on a downward slope, extracting it will require extreme caution. In this position, the rhino's weight could cut off its breathing and the animal could suffocate to death. The crew works as quickly as possible.
9 milli. 1, 2, 3, go! 1, 2, 3, go!
This time, the animal makes it safely into the crate. The convoy heads north. Beyond the town of Isiolo and into the wilderness. It's a 4-hour road trip to its new home at the Serra Community Conservancy.
This is the home place some years ago. And the animal coming back to their origin. We are very actually grateful to have the animals today.
Each new animal that arrives at Serra receives a special greeting from local elders.
I suppose the most exciting thing is probably for those communities that are going to be there that open that box for the first rhino to run into Serra.
Until the animal exits and is clearly safe in its new home, it's a nerve-wracking experience. And then it's time.
For them to be in Serra, I think it will be a new home, a bigger home, and I hope that they make more babies so that we can try and make that possible, everything possible. These boys have fathered some of the babies in Lewa Wildlife Conservancy, and seeing them here is like giving off some boys off to go and start a new home. It's moving for me, but it's good.
Not all the rhino are anxious to leave their containers. It receives a little gentle encouragement. And with that, the campaign comes to an end.
It was all good. Good capture in the morning, good release. All animals looking quite healthy even at the time of release.
A week later, for Lewa founder Ian Craig, who dreamed of seeing rhino back in northern Kenya, it's an emotional experience.
It's been a hard job. It's been testing, really physically testing, mentally testing, because you're going through these highs and lows of dealing with a really precious animal.
Those radio transmitters that were installed allow them to know exactly where each of the animals are. This is the payoff. The rangers at Sarah can now find all 10 of the new rhino with ease.
I can die now. They're the black rhino, northern Kenya. Yeah, you don't get better. Feeding away is fantastic. It's just going down the riverbed there.
But there's much more work to do. If this rhino relocation proves successful, more rhinos will come to Sarah, hopefully inspiring other communities to do the same.
You know, deep down I hope putting rhino and moving wildlife into areas like that where communities have coexisted with wildlife, that's probably the future.
Their numbers are slowly increasing because of the commitment and passion of people like Ian Craig, the Northern Rangelands Trust, KWS, and conservation groups who put their lives on the line to guard them.
You know, you build up something so massive and all these little pieces, and you know, from money to politics to everything that's going on, and then suddenly it happens. You know, that's where I am now. It's just suddenly happened and it's now settling in, and you know, I go to bed every night thinking, crap, over by that hill there's rhino. And you know, there haven't been rhino there for 30 years. And so it's just a very warm feeling.
Hey Love Nature fans, be sure to like and subscribe to catch all our wild animal stories. Get closer to nature right here on YouTube.